got something for you. We got something for you. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for Megapod-tastic. 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 Megapod-tastic.
Good morning. It's Crazy Joe. Good morning at 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm using the old intro. Obviously, I killed the Megapodtastic branding a while ago. We don't really call ourselves Megapodtastic anymore. This is Crazy Joe's concession stand now. But for the fact that I don't have a new intro, I'll just play the old one for old time's sake. What the heck? I look very brightly lit, don't I? I wish there was some way I could change that. I mean, the light switch is all the way over there. I would love to go and dim it, but unfortunately, it's all the way over there. Look at this. Happy Gollum is here. Hey, hello, Crazy Joe. Hello, Happy Gollum. Good to see you. My buddy Max is live right now over on his channel. Normally, he sends a link. And normally this time of night I would have joined him, but he didn't send the link out tonight. So I decided to go live on my own because I got a lot of things I want to say about recent events. Namely, James Gunn. James Gunn, as many of you know, has been named the head of the DC cinematic universe. I'm sorry, a friend of mine is apparently awake that I didn't think would be awake this late. Hang on a second. I'm sorry. I don't, how many people we got watching? 3 people watching. This is a new channel, obviously. My old channel, Crazy Joe Adventures. I decided to split it into 2, and this channel doesn't have many subs yet. I think we're at like about 100 subs, whereas the other one has close to 3,000. So, I don't know how many people know that we're live right now. So tell a friend. If you're watching, tell a friend we're here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to respond to my friend. I didn't expect to get a message this late at night. So I'm just trying to say hello. I'm sorry to do this, but there you go. So I got a lot of thoughts about the whole James Gunn situation. The one thing that has really been driving me crazy in the last few days, and Happy Gollum says James Gunn could be good for the DCEU, but time will tell. I agree. I think he's going to be very good for the DCEU. I think he's going to be exceptionally good. I hate this lighting. I look terrible, man. This lighting, I look so washed out. But anyway, I think he's going to be very good. He took D-list at best. D-list at best characters for the Marvel Universe, the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, a lot of people were like, well, this isn't going to fly. There's a talking raccoon. This is weird. These are weird characters. This is going to be Marvel. This is going to be the MCU's first major failure. That was the prediction before Guardians of the Galaxy came out. And to everybody's surprise, it became one of the most popular films in the franchise. Nobody saw that coming, but it did. It became the Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the most popular Marvel films there is. And that's all James Gunn. James Gunn did that. He turned the Guardians of the Galaxy, a team that has a talking raccoon, he turned them into one of the #1 most popular franchises within the MCU. Now, just imagine, what is this guy going to do? He's writing Superman, arguably the most famous superhero of all time. A guy who turned a talking raccoon into an icon. What is he going to do with the most famous superhero of all? And I'm down for it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see. Sorry. When you're getting messages from a friend this late at night, you should respond because you know uh, because you never know. When someone's reaching out to you this late, there's probably a reason. I'm sorry to do this. I if I knew I was going to get a text like seconds after I went live, I probably wouldn't have gone live right away. So I'm sorry about that. But you got to take these things seriously. If somebody's texting you at 1 a.m. on a day when they got to be at work the next day, there's probably a reason for it. So yeah, I'm really excited about what James Gunn's doing. But the one thing that has been driving me crazy this last few days is we've got 4 more movies that James Gunn had nothing to do with: Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Aquaman 2, and Blue Beetle. And I've seen a lot of people I know, reputable people, say that they're not going to go see them, that they have no interest in these movies because the one thing I've seen is, what's the point? What is the point? Uh, because they're not continuing. So what's the point? And that doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. In fact, I find it a little depressing as a film fan because I love DC Comics and I love the DC universe. But as a film fan, I say I'm a film fan first. My first love is movies. And then my second love is comics. And then movies about comics is in there somewhere. But my first love is movies. I am a film fanatic. And as much as I love superhero movies, I love all movies. I love movies that have nothing to do with superheroes. I love dramas. I love horrors. I love comedies. I love action films. You name it. I love movies. And when I hear people say, I'm not going to go see a movie because it doesn't connect to a larger universe and therefore it's pointless, as a film fan, that depresses me every bit as much as when I used to hear people say, well, I can't sit through a black and white movie, which I used to hear. Probably still people saying that, but I don't hear it as much anymore. But I remember in the early 2000s, I used to hear, well, I can't sit through a black and white movie. A black and white movie, life isn't in black and white. Life is in color. So a black and white movie, that's not reality. Reality isn't in black. I've heard people have said that to me. When people used to say about letterbox movies, back now we have 16:9 widescreen TVs, but for a while, our TVs were a different shape. And in order to see the full picture of the screen, they had to do letterboxing, which meant there was a black bar at the top and bottom of the screen. And I used to have people say to me, I don't want to see that. I want the picture to fill my whole screen. And that meant that part of the picture that the director intended you to see was being cut off. And people would say, I don't want to see that. I don't want black bars. I'd rather they cut the picture to fit my screen. And these kind of things, I mean, you're a film lover, and Happy Gollum says he loves all kinds of movies. Excellent. Me too, Happy Gollum. And right now it looks like we only have one viewer. That's the downfall of the second channel. I've only got 100 subs, and it's late at night. So a lot of people probably don't even know I'm live right now. If I went live on the other channel, people would know I'm live. But I'm trying to keep movie content over here. So tell a friend about Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. Let's get more subs on this channel. But the thing is, when I hear people say, well, what's the point? What's the point of watching these next 4 movies? It tells me you're not actually interested in the movies. You're not really interested in the movies. You're only interested in what comes next. And that's depressing because some of the best movies ever made, nothing comes next. They're self-contained movies. They don't have a sequel. They don't have a franchise. They're just a movie. One I keep going back to because it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's contemporary enough that I think everyone's seen it, is E.T. I always keep going back to E.T. I go, E.T. movie, 40 years old this year, no sequel. It's just the one film, and there's no greater cinematic ET universe. It's just one movie, and that's it. It's just that. And it's a great story, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's not weaker because it doesn't continue. In fact, it's probably better off that it doesn't, because it's powerful as it is. Like, what Spielberg actually tried to make a sequel to ET in the early 80s, and it was turning into this weird dark movie about alien invaders, and it was called like ET Nocturnal Frights or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it wasn't working. So he said, no, 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 no. We're just going to do the one film. And ET was better for it. But that movie tells a self-contained story. You don't need any more than that one story. And let's look at the DC movies up till now. Some of them I've liked, some of them I have not liked. But it doesn't matter if I've liked them or didn't like them. All of them, the ones I liked and the ones I didn't like, all tell a self-contained story. Man of Steel, which, by the way, is one of the ones I don't like. I hate Man of Steel. But it doesn't matter. If you like it, you don't like it, doesn't matter. Man of Steel has a beginning, a middle, and an end. When you walk out of Man of Steel, that movie has told its story. Now, there's room for sequels. There is definitely room for sequels. There's room to continue. But if it never continued, you still got a self-contained story there. And it did continue. It continued into Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman is the one that's kind of a little different because Superman does die in Batman v Superman. And everyone knows the death and return of Superman story from the comics. So at the end of Batman v Superman, you do know that Superman's coming back. So that one kind of ends on a cliffhanger. But that's the only one. Justice League, both cuts, theatrical cut and the Snyder cut, doesn't matter. Both cuts of Justice League have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The story ends. Room to continue. There's room to go forward. But if you don't go forward, the story you were just watching had an end. Aquaman, same thing. Beginning, middle, end. The story ends. Wonder Woman, you name it. All the DC movies, Shazam, they all have a beginning, a middle, and an end because they all tell self-contained stories that can continue into a larger universe. The characters aren't dead. They can certainly go on and continue and continue. But if they don't continue, you've got a self-contained film. And there's no reason to believe Shazam and Aquaman and the Flash and Blue Beetle are going to be any different. So when people say there's no point to watching them because they don't connect to a greater universe, that's very confusing to me because I'm like, well, aren't you interested in the story that these movies have to tell? Because if you're not interested in the story these movies have to tell, you're only interested in what the next thing is. That's very weird to me. Because are you a film fan? Are you a fan of movies? Do you want a movie to tell you a story? Or are you only there for that post-credit tease of what the next thing is? And it almost makes me question whether cinematic universes are worth it. If that's the way the mentality is going, that we're only interested in the next thing and we can't appreciate what we have in front of us, to me, that almost seems like a problem. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Is that a problem that people can't enjoy the thing they're watching? They're only interested in what comes next? And it's the same with Marvel. I mean, we're talking about DC here, but it's the same with Marvel, with the exception of like Infinity War. Infinity War has a cliffhanger ending. Pretty much every Marvel movie is self-contained. Beginning, middle, end. Characters have room to continue. Like take Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy, the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, they'll put little hints in there like, oh, the Infinity Stones. We'll introduce the Infinity Stones. They might come into play later. But the story being told in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the story being told in Thor, these are self contained, meaning if you did not have a sequel, it's not like the audience is going to be confused and walk away like, I didn't understand what I just saw. No, the story is self contained enough that you could just watch that story, walk away from it, and you got a complete story. Just with a little tease of, oh, and by the way, later we're going to do this. And that's it's really strange. I find it really strange. So I mean, I wish we had more people here. I'd love to have. I sent the link, and nobody's popping over. Hang on a second. There, I sent it again. So there you go. That's where we stand right now. And Happy Gollum says he subscribed to both channels. I appreciate that, Happy Gollum. I really appreciate that. I'm really disappointed with my last Crazy Joe Adventures video, by the way. I got to say, the quality of the video I was not pleased with it, and I'm shooting at 4K quality, and I'm playing it back after the fact. And of course, you don't know when you're shooting it. You don't know till you go back and start editing it. Video didn't look good. And I'll tell you, it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer when you take the time to shoot a video, and then you go back and you look, and you're like, oh, I didn't like this. I didn't like how it looked, because you feel like you wasted your time. So I don't know. I was really bummed out by my last video, and I really should get up and lower the lights because I look so washed out right now. 'Cause, this one's I'm sure doesn't look good either. So there we go. James Gunn. People are being really weird about this. People are being, and I'll tell you another thing. I'll tell you another thing. Everyone's acting like, well, um, eh, it's pointless to go see these movies because they're not going to continue, and we really don't even know that that's true. We don't even know that that's true because Zachary Levi just came out and said he is sticking around. And Gal Gadot has indicated she's sticking around. Now we know Henry Cavill is gone and he's being rebooted, but we don't know what the full plan is yet. So people thinking it's this hard reboot and none of these movies are going to matter. We don't know that's the fact. Uh, Bottom line, we don't know that. People are making assumptions. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'll tell you, I don't think, based on what we've seen, I don't think we're losing Gal Gadot, and I don't think we're losing Zachary Levi. I think we're definitely getting a new Batman because Ben Affleck has said many, many, many times he doesn't want to play Batman anymore, and we know Henry Cavill's out because they've actually announced that. And frankly, that makes sense to me. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but that makes sense to me because if you look at what has worked for them and what hasn't worked for them, the movies that Superman and Batman have been in have been the least popular. Man of Steel was not considered a success. Batman v Superman was not considered a success. Whereas Wonder Woman was the first hit they had. That was the first movie they had that was considered a box office success and a critical darling. It got all the praise from critics and fans alike. Whereas with Batman v Superman, people were making fun of that Martha line nonstop. So that's kind of where we are. So nobody seems to want to join me. I guess everyone's watching Max's stream. But hey, Jeremy's here. Good to see you, Jeremy. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. So what do you guys think? Is everyone are you excited about James Gunn taking over? And do you think I think it's going to be crazy good if this guy could take Guardians of the Galaxy, who are D-listers, and turn them into box office stars? Then what's he going to do with Superman? I mean, that's the most famous superhero of all time. How can I not be psyched for that? Well, I'll tell you, I haven't been live for very long, but I feel like I should probably end this stream because I was hoping to get a couple more people on here to talk about this. And unfortunately, nobody's joining me. So, so it's pretty much a one-sided discussion. It's just me telling you what I think, and that's not terribly interesting. So I guess we're going to cut it off. But thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I'd like to write in the comments below what you think. I wanted to hear what you think about James Gunn. I know this hashtag Fire James Gunn's been going around. I think it's personally kind of a joke. I mean, you've got this guy who's had just nothing but success, and we're going to fire him just because he's replacing an actor who was in 3 movies that weren't very well received. And don't get me wrong, I like Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill's fine. I'd be happy with Henry Cavill to keep going on as Superman. So it's not like I have anything against Henry Cavill. But it does kind of make sense, doesn't it? Like his movies didn't take off. I mean, they're very popular with a very, very, very loud group of people, but the box office shows that's not the mainstream. And we all saw the memes. We all saw Sad Affleck and the Martha jokes, and even Teen Titans Go made Martha jokes. And I mean, those movies were kind of a laughing stock. Yes, they do have a devoted fan base, but let's not kid ourselves. That devoted fan base is not the mainstream moviegoer. It never was. So I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I guess we're going to wrap this up. Hey, everybody, keep wearing those pajamas, and we'll talk to you next time.